Hello everyone and welcome back to my Dust and Elysian Tail speedrunning tutorial. In this episode I will show you how to use the aerial dodge cancel, which is a very similar technique compared to ground dodge cancel. The difference is just you do it in the air and you use different buttons, but other than that it's very similar, so this shouldn't be as hard to learn as the other. When you enter this room in the glade, you get this ability called Aerial Dust Storm, which looks something like this. You jump up in the air and you press Y and you use the dust storm in the air, and that is a very useful movement technique in itself, but it allows us to do so many different things with it other than just this, and one of them is the aerial dodge cancelling. So you can also dodge in the air like this, but you can do it only once or maybe twice if you have enough air, but usually you can do it only once if you don't consider any kind of animation cancelling. But once again, we can use that animation cancelling to chain it much faster together, so we can just spam it up in the air even quicker than ground dodge cancel, which makes it a slightly faster movement technique than ground dodge cancel, but you cannot perform it everywhere, so usually you just end up using the ground dodge cancel. So let me show you what it looks like. You could see that instead of two dodge cancels, I mean just 2 aerial dodges, I could use about 6 with animation cancelling. So how the animation cancelling works here is that aerial dust storm, which is this thing, actually cancels out aerial dodge. It's the same thing as in ground cancel, but instead of ground slash, it's the aerial dust storm which cancels the dodge animation. So when you're up in the air, you choose a direction where you go and pull your stick towards that direction. You dodge and then use aerial dust storm very briefly, because if you use it more than a fraction of a second, it sends you kind of backwards, so you have to very briefly press Y so you don't use it too much. You can see that I just tapped Y in the air, so I don't get a longer dust storm. If I press it longer, this happens, and that's not very good. It stops the momentum. So just like in ground dodge cancel, you should press dodge again immediately after cancelling the animation, so immediately after tapping Y to do the dust storm. Let me show you in slow motion. Wait, okay. It's harder to do since I don't have much air, but you get the point. It's very similar to ground dodge cancelling. And let me show you how it's used in this room, for example. After acquiring the aerial dust storm, you go to this ledge and you jump and you aerial dodge cancel your way all the way to the right, and you pick up this key. Let me show you that again and just show you exactly how fast this animation is, or this technique. Let me go from slow to fast to demonstrate how fast I can actually use this. Here we go. And there we go, that's pretty fast. As a bonus, let me demonstrate how aerial dust storm boosting works in this game. I just call it boosting, but for clearance it's when I use aerial dust storm to boost off from enemies. Since whenever you attack or use aerial dust storm or any other offensive abilities, dust kind of homes in towards the enemy which is closest to dust, or the closest to dust wherever direction you're facing at that point. And Dust can home pretty far on enemies, and that gives him a little bit of movement speed. So for example, if I just try to jump and attack, it kind of pulls me towards the enemies. It isn't very obvious here, but there it was. It clearly pulled me towards the enemies. If I do it, if I attack multiple times, it's with each slash it homes me towards the enemies. And the same thing happens if I use the Aerial Dust Storm. Aerial Dust Storm can home in on enemies, even if they are not on the screen, like this. You could see that it gave me a clear movement boost for a second. And it even gave me more airtime than I'm supposed to have. And this technique is called boosting, and we can use that to climb vertical maps really quickly, or vertical spots, or even diagonal spots can be traveled really fast using this boosting technique. In the routing video I will show you different spots where you can use this to your advantage, but for now it's good that you know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about boosting. Let me show you diagonally what happens. Hopefully an enemy will follow. Come on. Come over here. There you go. No, don't stop. Oh well. Anyway, you get the point. That was kind of a good example. Since the enemy is higher than me, it gives me plenty of height when I'm using my Aerial Dust Storm. So yeah, that's my lesson on aerial dodge cancel and aerial boosting. So see you guys on the next episode of Dust and Elysian Tail speedrunning tutorials.